Welcome back to Be the Man. Got an exciting day today out at the bee yard. It's a little too windy, but I can't help that because we got rain coming for like the next 7 or 8 days, so I need to do it before then. What I hope to do, I'm going to inspect the hive. We've been feeding the bees for the last week. They've actually gone through a gallon of sugar water in a week, so we've seen a lot of activity. I'm going to open the hive. If I see like 80% frames full, I'm going to add a second box and let the bees begin to grow and expand into the new home. So we'll take a look here in a minute. I'll get the smoker fired up, got my box prepared, and we'll open the bees up here in just a minute. All right, here we are at hive number 1. I'm going to open the top lid off, give them a little smoke first, and let them settle down for a minute, and then we'll proceed on with the process. So let me give them a little smoke, and hopefully that'll give them a minute to settle down. Okay, we're going to open the lid back now and go set my smoker down here and see what kind of activity we got going on in the lid. I expect to have some bees. I do have a few there, not too bad though. We'll set my lid down over here. And there's a lot of bees around the top. You see some bee propolis that they put on the top. I'm going to go ahead and give them a little smoke here so maybe they'll go on down. And I expect to really have to pry this lid off this time, but we'll see. Not too bad. Looks like I'm going to be able to get it off okay. There we go. Those bees are all right. I just want to make extra sure that for some reason the queen is not somewhere she's not supposed to be. I don't see anything there, so that's okay. So we're going to, there's really not a lot of excess wax or anything that I'm seeing. So let's just take a look at what we find. I'll take this frame off first and kind of pry it up. A little bit disappointed in finding this because I had that much comb at the beginning of the week. So maybe they've started to work on another comb, but we'll take a look. I'm just going to set this one aside, and we'll just need to remember that's frame number 1. I'll set it there as we pull the next one back. I really would have expected more comb there. Sometimes they're glued together pretty good. This one was. So this will be frame number 2. And let's pull it out and see what we've got. A lot of bees on it, but they've not really begun to draw out much comb. And I don't see any sign. Wait a minute. How about that big bee right there in the middle? Is that just a drone right there? I think that's a drone. A little bigger than the rest of them. No activity on the back of this. I'm gonna set this one aside too. This is number 2. The rest of them I'll be able to get to. Okay, but I'm gonna set that one right there. Just remember that's frame number 2. Now we'll get to frame number 3 and see what kind of activity that we have here. And it looks like there's a lot more bees up on the top of this frame than there were the others. So we'll see what we find as we begin to look. Now this frame is heavy. We need to look close for the queen here to see. So there's a lot of uncapped brood there. There's some honey up here on the top by my hand here, and a lot of brood that's uncapped. I'm sorry, a lot of frames that are uncapped, and some capped brood, which are the darker cells. I don't see the queen there, unless you do. Let's look at the other side. In this frame we have more capped brood. I don't know if I'm seeing eggs or not. I can't really tell. quite a bit of honey in this, but it's uncapped honey. So I'm gonna set this back in. That's frame number 3. We'll push it back in place in a minute. That was the 3rd frame. Really not seeing a big difference between today and a week ago. Now that's a full frame of bees, but again, I'm not seeing a whole lot of capped brood. Come in close and see if somebody with better eyes than me, see if you can see eggs in those cells. You'll see a white dot in the bottom of those cells. Do you see any at all? You need the light behind you, you should be able to see. Any sign of a queen? We'll see that, okay. Now let's look here, I'm gonna look over my shoulder. I just can't see good enough, but I don't see a lot of capped brood. I see brood I do see some uncapped, but I don't see much capped brood. So let's go back down with this one. And as carefully as we can. Of a sticky operation. That was frame 4. There's a lot of stuff going on there. Separate this one out. This is the 5th frame. The queen's got to be somewhere. We need to start seeing the queen. There we go. I see her. See the green dot? There we go. We found the queen. Can everybody see the queen down there in the bottom corner? So she's active and doing her thing. That's a great sign. And quite a bit of stuff there. I'm going to put this back in there quickly since the queen is on this 5th frame. And I haven't decided. Before we started today, I had intentions of putting a new box on, but so far I'm not seeing enough activity to justify a new box. So if that's the case, I would have been moving that cell up top, but it has the queen on it. So I'm a little leery losing the queen. So today's inspection has been a success, if only we found the queen. Now, let's move again. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Some scout bees around me. You see what I'm saying? You see there's capped brood and there's uncapped, and I see a lot of honey. If you look down this side over here, you see liquid honey that they haven't capped. Can you see that on the camera at all? So it's quite a bit of activity. Let's look over this side. And I'm not seeing a whole lot of white, like larva or pupae in there. I am seeing honey, and I'm seeing that, but not so much of the others. So I just don't know enough to know exactly what that means. This is why you need bee gloves. They're a little smaller. They don't get stuck so bad. All right, so that was frame, what frame was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let's go to frame 7. And see what we find here on frame number 7. Now I'm seeing some excess I'm having a hard time getting this one up. There we go. All right, so what I have here. Now this is a frame of honey. And that's a drawn out frame. And on the back side, look at all this. That's all honey. And they've capped the top corners, and there's honey in those bottom cells. and we're still working. So there's quite a bit there. This is what you want. When it's all said and done, you want the frame to look like the top right-hand corner here that's capped with honey. Now I still don't see any eggs because I can't see good enough, or any uncapped bees, which I would like to see. But that's a good sign though. They're putting honey there, like they should be. And do you hear them being louder than they were when we started? They're quite a bit louder, which means they're quite a bit more aggravated. They're kind of saying, okay, enough of this. Let's no more inspecting. But I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna look at 8, 9, 10. They're a lot louder to me. I mean, they are a lot louder than they've been during any time I've done this. Number 8, no real activity there. And I can see number 9. I'm not gonna pull them out. I can see 9 and 10 really look the same way. So I'm not gonna take those out. I'm gonna put this one back in. So that they move a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna slide them over. I don't think I'm gonna add another frame. I'm not quite seeing another box. I don't really see enough activity. I don't see enough capped brood, but it's been 7 days since we did this and not 10. So I think we're okay. We fed them a lot in the meantime, so maybe they're just now kicking back into action. So we're gonna put these back together. So we're gonna go ahead and put the lid back on, and hopefully they'll get less. I think they're a little bit aggravated. They're buzzing me like I've not been buzzed before. Get them off the lid. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. All right, here we go. I think these need to go in, so I don't want to smash them. Go, 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 go. Go. Y'all go. There we go. Okay. There we go. Now we're on. Okay, I think we have about 25,000 angry bees. It's windy, they're cooped up. Took me longer than I should have, and they're really swarming around more than I've seen them since I've been doing this. I had to use my brush more. I don't really like doing that, but I didn't want to have to squish bees either. So, at any rate, probably not our best episode. And if there's beekeepers watching this, you can tell me everything I've done wrong. But at any rate, we did find the queen. She's doing her work. And so for today, that's all for Be the Man.